making the best whiskey sour of your life.
With an egg white.
With an egg white.
And Derek talks about tight cherries.
I did do that.
Welcome to 2015. Use coupon code NewYear's15 and save 15% on everything at awesomedrinks.com.
Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derrick Schommer. That's Ian Andrews, and we're making a cocktail. This is called the Whiskey Sour, my favorite drink.
You're getting so reckless.
I know.
You almost knocked the table over. You almost poked me in the eye.
Almost lost an eye.
Yeah.
It's craziness.
I know.
I like it.
It's like that.
That's what I do. I'm like
Derek equals crazy.
I'm like crazy and all. Get
You
out.
notice that this thing's in here, so there's an egg involved.
Whiskey sour is going to involve 2 ounces of bourbon, a half ounce of freshly strained lemon juice. It's under there. We've got a 3/4 ounce simple syrup, a pinch of salt, 1 ounce of egg white. So we're gonna build this by adding everything but the egg white to that shaker. Then, after we've added everything but the egg white. Yep.
You don't want it on the glass?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna shake it with the side. I'm going to do what I can to avoid, and I'll shake this one since I've got the preparation for the fact that when you dry shake egg white, the problem is there's no cold, so it doesn't change the temperature of this tin, which means that I'm choking.
Is that what that means?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't make a good seal, so it leaked all over you. The last thing you need is egg leaked all over you. So I've got this.
Well, that's where the origin of the phrase "fall on your face."
And probably not. This recipe is from the Liquid Intelligence book, just like the last recipe was.
Don't hide the lemon, because that's likely to be forgotten.
You want me to cut it too?
No, I get it.
You're gonna put the whole lemon in there?
No, go ahead, cut it.
Sometimes decisions are made wise. That was one of them. We're also going to just garnish it with one of these Jack Rudy bourbon cherries here, because it seems like it makes sense. And I'll have Ian try the bourbon cherry ahead of time so that he can get a nice, good impression of the bourbon cherry. Because when I did it, and I had my aunt when she was packing for Awesome Drinks one morning, I'm like, dude, check these out. She tried that. She's like, that's awesome. I brought it up to Jennifer. I was like, all happy. I figured it was going to be a good time. And Jen was like, oh.
Of course.
So,
of course, Jen.
Of course, I ruined everything.
Yep, we've got, and of course, because it's from the Liquid's Intelligence Guide, and he goes for perfect balance of everything, now you can add the egg white. We're going to do it this way. We'll see if we get it without any of the actual yolk in it this time.
I don't want to just do it over the glass.
I typically, and it is 1 ounce, so you could pop that egg, and hopefully we don't get any shell in there. I'm cursing him with everything that he could completely destroy this drink. At home, what I would do is I would do the egg white draining in a separate container. That way, don't get slime on Moss Man. That way, it doesn't accidentally fall into your drink and you lose all the spirit. But whatever, it's working here. Yeah, we don't need that. So now I'm gonna take this part while he cleans up his mess, and we're gonna do our best to dry shake this for 10 seconds. You want to be super aggressive on this one. Yeah,
because with the egg white, what it does, it creates a great froth, and it creates a head. I once went to drink in Boston, and a guy made an egg white drink in a Collins glass. The head on the drink was like this, and he was putting orange peels and drizzling grenadine on it. It was like a cloud. It was beautiful. I feel like the crocodile. It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous!
Look at the head on that cocktail. It's crocky. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's magnificent! So we have all of our ingredients in here. You got your bourbons and everything?
Yep. Bourbon, salt, simple syrup, lemon juice. So first you dry shake, and then you wet shake. You
wet shake.
Yes, you wet shake it.
You shake it with ice.
Yes.
Vigorously.
Or he shakes his whole body.
You notice the cup didn't move, his body did a lot of
It's actually not shaking at all, but I'm dizzy. Boom. Now, highlight this right here.
Sour of the whiskey.
For the cam.
Look at that. It's like a cream with that egg.
Alright, creamed.
It does. It doesn't look like it's a whiskey sour because of the
Now
color.
you'll see it go.
And we put one of these on top?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, you gotta put it in your mouth first.
And then put it in there? That's just
no,
weird.
use another one.
I would prefer you try one, and then you do the second one. Now I gotta do it.
There's a whole jar. There's enough to...
Nothing wrong with those.
And they're tight like a real cherry is. They're not Okay. Everything I said was wrong. I appreciate that.
They're tight like a real cherry.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
Oh, what I mean,
Because it's tight like a real cherry.
it's not soggy.
No. It's not all
very-
mushy and everything. It's very
Tight.
tight like a real cherry.
I don't know what else to call it.
You pervert!
That's all I got. And there you have it.
The whiskey sour with Vanna hands. Vanna White, for those of you who are in the U.S. and don't watch Wheel of Fortune.
Who would that be?
I don't know.
She's only been on there for like 80 years.
Yeah, she's like 50-something. She still looks good.
Yeah.
Good for
What
her.
plastic surgery does.
Whiskey
that?
sour. Look at the... You can see the separation of the
It's a very
head
thin
and
head.
everything. It's a very thin head, but it's gonna get thicker
Yeah.
the more you shake it, I think, right?
You can add a little more head to it if you really want to do, but I think it looks pretty damn sexy like that.
Oh, that's good.
There's a little bit of history on this, not very much. So if you add egg, first off, you add egg white, you typically create some people call it a Boston sour instead of just a whiskey sour because it has the egg in there.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I've done a Boston sour that had a recipe ratio sort of like this.
Now, are they? If it has an egg white, is it considered a flip or not really? Because we're not doing the flip between the cup thing.
It's not really a flip,
Okay.
but I think people generally would say it's a flip like they would say Kleenex's tissues.
Okay.
Like, it's got egg in it. We shook the crap out of it. Most of the times when I deal with flips, I don't do too much flipping. It's
Yeah.
usually
With a
shaking
flip,
the
you're
crap out of it.
typically pouring back and forth,
Yeah.
right? We did that on one of the drinks.
It's going to create a different texture and consistency, I think.
What? Oh, you didn't say what it tastes like. I was going to give you a
tastes
question of
like-
the day, but
smooth, awesome whiskey.
Oldest historical mention of this, 1870 in in a Wisconsin newspaper. So it's got some age to it. It's considered a sour. If you took everything we just did and you used tequila instead, or you used gin, you can create a gin sour. You can create a
Tequila sour.
If you did it with rum,
Vodka
you have a rum
sour.
sour. Could be considered a daiquiri by some because it's kind of the same heritage.
Very similar.
What you shouldn't do, if you go to and this happens almost every time I go someplace, the telltale sign that the cocktail is a craft bar, or at least tries to be, is if you order a whiskey sour, I don't care if it comes up in like a tall glass or a tumbler or whatever, instead of this, it doesn't need to use egg white, but if they just took sour mix in JD and went like this and go, and they throw a cherry in there, it's not a whiskey sour. I still get them. I still will drink them because it's better than, I just like whiskey,
Yep.
and I didn't want it straight. But it's not really a whiskey sour. That's not a bar that knows how to make a craft cocktail.
That's a good whiskey sour. It's creamy with the egg.
Mm-hmm.
You get the bourbon, the oakiness to it. You get a little bit of citrus to it. Not
It's
crazy with
dry.
citrus. Yeah,
It's got like a dry tongue. It dries out your palate like a red wine would.
it does.
Right? It has that same, but instead of the red wine, like
It's almost
vanilla,
a tannin-y flavor on your tongue.
Yeah.
Like tannins on your tongue.
but you get a warm bourbon flavor, like a little
Yeah.
bit of oak, but it's
bit.
not crazy. It's not
But
like
it's
drinking
smooth
straight
and
whiskey.
It's sweet at the
It
same
is,
time.
yeah.
It's really, really tasty. I can see why you love these drinks.
And it's got a lot of, the texture is killer. Like it's all about the texture.
yeah.
And-
Don't worry about the egg. I mean, the egg can scare people off.
Yeah.
And-
you just
and-
pasteurize eggs, problem goes away.
Yeah.
it's
Unless you
actually
pee
really
on it.
good. Like the best Midori sour I ever
Midori
had
sour
was
looks just
with
like
an egg.
Again, use
It was
Midori instead of
awesome.
whiskey.
Nice.
And you have a
Midori
Midori sour.
Yeah.
You could play with the ratios, but you're probably going to get a really good
similar,
drink
yeah.
using the same design that's on here.
All right,
Absolutely.
question of the day.
Question of the day.
What item do you wish you could find soaked in bourbon? And
Paper
what-
towels.
Strippers.
Stripper soaked in bourbon. What do you want soaked in bourbon?
What is your
Mark.
Watermelon bourbon.
what is your preferred flip cocktail?
Favorite flip. We've done a bunch of them on the show. You can
This
search
might
for
be
flip.
it.
We did Skittle flip if you
did
want to
the-
use Skittle infused vodka.
The port flip.
We did a
Port
port
wine.
flip.
We
Yeah.
did it twice with
Yeah, we
port
did it with
Wally
good
port and
one.
better.
I think it was better with the pour, right?
It was better with the port. Yeah. We did an old fashioned flip. I think I brought this one where we actually did the flipping, and it had beer that was warmed up. Do you remember that?
Remember Jennifer deleted that episode?
Oh,
What?
That was
Jen, that's right,
wasn't
you
it the-
did. Yeah. God damn it, Jen.
That was the one episode Jennifer
Don't search
actually
for that
deleted.
one on the channel.
that-
You're not gonna
Never
find
mind,
it.
we didn't
We'll
do
have to do that
that.
one.
We didn't do that. We did
take
it, but
that
no one
back.
knows.
Also,
It was all for naught.
for those history buffs,
Jen didn't like that drink.
this recipe or something similar to it with the name Whiskey Sour was published by Jerry Thomas in How to Mix Drinks and the Bon Voyant Companion, whatever it's called, in 1862. But it existed prior to that. So I think what Jerry Thomas did was brought it into the recipe book.
Popularized it. He standardized
Exactly.
it. Yeah. Great drink. Recommend it. You know what? If you want to make this for people, to give them something different, with the egg. I mean,
Yeah.
people who are willing to experiment are going to appreciate this drink and they're going to enjoy
Right.
it. Even people who don't want to experiment, don't tell them there's an egg white in
Right.
it, and just give it to them. Tell them after they realize they love it.
And the other thing to note, there will be a difference in consistency or in flavor profile. This is a rye. You could use a standard bourbon, like a more oaky bourbon. I've done both.
The Whistle Pig's pretty good, though. You got that not too long ago, right?
Very expensive. I would use the highest cost bourbon or rye that you own, but I wouldn't go out and buy a $70 bottle or $60 bottle just to make this. No. Maker's Mark, $25 usually, $30.
Makers is pretty good. You can do a lot with Makers, Manhattans and Old Fashions and whiskeys. However,
You'd be able to use it. That I use that as the industry standard. Like you should be able to get this.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you can use any of the flavors that we've used. We've got a whole bunch.
Bullet's good.
Bullet
really
rye
good.
could also work for that. So it's a whiskey sour, rye, bourbon, Canadian whiskey. Pick your favorite, and it will enhance it and make it 10 times better. Then you go up to awesometdrinks.com. You get Jack Rudy Cocktail and Company bourbon cherries because
they're really good.
It pairs.
Yeah.
I haven't yet figured out how this is going to affect other things using a bourbon cherry with it, aside from just drinking them out or eating them out of the bottle.
This would last about 10 minutes in my hands.
You might actually get drunk in the process. I don't really know how much is in there. I've asked them to tell me if kids can have it or not. But it doesn't have an ABV with it.
No,
so I don't know how much.
Alcoholic.
All right.
All right. We're done. That's it. We did our question today. We did our other thing, which I don't know what it is.
We told you where to get these.
Yep. In the coupes.
You can get those at the same place. You can get your chef and squeezers at the same place. Your CMC shakers, same place. Trainers, whatever. All that stuff.
That's it, dudes.
I just bought stuff before we filmed tonight. There's always something new on there, so.
Get something new, because we're Teach Roderick.
And?
You're going to need a garnish.
And?
A cock.
Ah, I love that part.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing? Do you bite?
Not really.
Don't bite.
Oh, they don't bite? What's this red thing do for them?
Fashion statement.
Shut up.